I heard you got a job at a food company, but then you got fired. You probably did something unnecessary and got disliked. You meddlesome jerk. I reconnected with a female classmate, Sophia, at the office. Due to past troubles, she completely despised me, Ethan. Because of that, she mocked me with such remarks. However, when I revealed my true identity to her, Sophia seemed taken aback. My name is Ethan. I'm just an ordinary guy, but I take pride in one thing. That is, my grandfather's long-established butcher shop. It's a small, yet renowned store that has been in business for generations and has even been featured on TV. The shop is located in a shopping district. Due to a large shopping mall opening nearby, customer traffic has significantly declined, leading to the closure of many other stores. However, my grandfather's store has continued to thrive without a decrease in customers. This is partly because it's a famous store that sells quality meat. But it's also largely due to my grandfather's treatment of customers. He always said, even if it's a famous store, we must not treat our customers carelessly. It's important to serve them with sincerity and dedication. Thanks to his personality, the store was beloved by the community. My grandfather taught me, Ethan, be kind to others. What you do to others will eventually come back to you. I was proud of my kind grandfather and always tried to be kind to others, as he advised. When I helped out at his shop, I always treated customers politely. I had many friends at school too. Even after advancing to high school, I maintained good relationships. I was elected class president, and I got along well with my classmates. Then one day, the sports festival was held. Even in events I wasn't participating in, I fervently cheered for my classmates. My class had many athletically skilled students, so we were in a position to aim for victory. Then came the final event, the relay race. If both the boys and girls won first place, we could win the overall championship. The relay was split into boys and girls, and the girls' relay was first. Our class had a good start and maintained the lead until the baton reached Sophia, our anchor. Sophia was the fastest runner among the girls in our class. Everyone thought our victory was certain. However, as she entered the final stretch, Sophia stumbled and fell face first. It was a dramatic fall, and boys from other classes began laughing loudly. Sophia, possibly due to the pain of the fall, couldn't get up immediately. Though other classes overtook her, that didn't matter to me. I rushed onto the field to Sophia's side. "Are you okay?" I asked. When I called out to her, Sophia finally managed to get up. Her face was covered in dirt and blood. I offered my hand, worried, asking, "Can you stand?" But that was a mistake. The laughing boys started teasing, "Are you guys a couple or what?" Sophia's face turned bright red, and she looked like she was about to cry. "Stop it, it's embarrassing," she said sharply, then quickly stood up and went to the nurse's office. After that incident, Sophia became cold towards me. Whenever I approached, she would look away, and if I spoke to her, she would only respond with yes or "I guess so." It was clear she wanted to minimize conversation. I was shocked, but I realized that my impulsive action had led to her being ridiculed more in front of the entire school. In fact, when I think about it, there was no need for me to go to her aid since the nurse was present. I regretted not acting more calmly, I reflected. Worse yet, Sophia had been a regular at my grandfather's butcher shop since she was little. She seemed to love the shop's signature beef sandwiches, buying them every time she visited. Occasionally, I would personally hand her the sandwiches. Even after the sports festival incident, Sophia kept visiting the shop, but I avoided meeting her face to face because it felt awkward. In the end, our relationship never mended, and we graduated from high school. Sophia went on to university, and I had a job lined up, I thought we would never meet again and that reconciliation was impossible. While high school was enjoyable, this remained a lingering regret. But I couldn't wallow in it forever. As a working adult, I decided to shift my focus and work hard. The company I joined was in the food industry. I became interested in working with food due to my grandfather's influence. As I dedicated myself to work, I began to dream of starting my own food company. However, starting a business right away was challenging, so I gained experience at the company I joined and saved money. Eventually, I established my company, focusing on meat products. It was a collaboration with my grandfather's shop. The products sold reasonably well, and my small company became stable. My grandfather was happy to work with his grandson. When I think about working with Ethan, it's something I never imagined. Living long has its perks, he said. When he said that, I felt good about having started my own company. Years after establishing it, one morning, I was cleaning the office. This was part of my daily routine. Indeed, the company now has more employees, but when it was just starting, there were only a few of us, so I had to do the cleaning myself. I continue cleaning to this day, so as not to forget the hardships of the early days. I wanted to do something directly for my employees. Normally, I finish before the staff arrive, but on this day, maybe because I was feeling down, it took longer than usual. As I was hurrying to finish the floor cleaning, someone entered the office. "Good morning," I said, but seeing the person's face made me feel even more disheartened. It was Sophia. Indeed, she was the reason for my heavy mood. I never thought I'd meet her again, but by some twist of fate, Sophia had transferred to my company. When I saw her resume among the applicants for a mid-career position, I was surprised. However, Sophia was the kind of talent our company was looking for, and there was a strong internal desire to hire her. I agreed with this decision, not letting our past issues influence the professional choice. Still, I wondered if Sophia knew I was the president. She seemed surprised to see me in the office. "Ethan, is that you? Why are you here?" "Oh, I work here." Sophia clearly didn't know I was here. In fact, if she had known, she probably wouldn't have applied. I didn't participate in the interview, so there was no chance for us to meet earlier. Sophia was staring intently at the cleaning tools I was holding. "Hey janitor, I heard you got a job at a food company, but you got fired. You probably did something unnecessary and got disliked. You meddlesome jerk." Sophia began to rant, her face turning red with anger. She was misunderstanding the situation. Since we were going to work together, I thought it best to clarify my position, so I spoke up. "I'm not a janitor. I'm the founder and president of this company. I left my previous job to start this one. I wasn't fired." As I showed her my employee badge, Sophia's mouth hung open in shock. Embarrassed, her face grew even redder. Then, she snorted and turned away, walking off somewhere. I worried that Sophia might impulsively quit the company out of frustration, but fortunately, she wasn't that childish. Sophia was competent at her work and quickly became a significant asset to the company. Many other employees agreed that hiring her was the right decision. However, she continued to be cold towards me. She acted normally in front of others, but when we were alone, she treated me coldly, just like in high school. I wanted to apologize for the past, but her aura of not wanting to talk made it hard to bring up. I realized that human grudges don't easily fade, leading to some disheartening days. About 3 weeks after Sophia joined the company, I was approached by a female employee named Amber. Amber had joined the company at the same time as Sophia. She said she had some work-related concerns and wanted to discuss them over dinner. Such requests happened a few times a year. Due to the small size of the company, the distance between employees and the president was close, creating a good atmosphere. This was also a charm of my company. Of course, the relationship with Amber was strictly professional. There were no underlying motives. After work, we went to an Italian restaurant. Amber mentioned she was having trouble with a difficult client she was currently handling. This client was known for being challenging and had really liked Amber's predecessor. They had put up quite a fuss when informed of the change in representative. Although they were eventually persuaded, it seemed the issue was still lingering. I shared insights on the client's personality and tips on how to build a good rapport with them. Having dealt with them since the founding of the company, I knew the best approach. Amber probably heard about this and came to me for advice. I remember the previous rep also took time to build a relationship, so if you're careful and polite, it should be fine, I said. When I assured her like that, Amber seemed relieved, and the dinner meeting ended smoothly. After parting ways with Amber, I was walking home. Then, a woman approached from the opposite direction. At first, I thought she was just another office worker, but upon closer inspection, it was Sophia. Despite our poor relationship, we seemed to run into each other quite often. She frowned as if thinking, "Not him again," when she noticed me. I was about to pass by without saying anything when, surprisingly, Sophia spoke to me. "I walk this way home every day but have never seen you, Ethan. Why are you using this road today?" I was a bit taken aback by her lengthy question, but explained that I had been to dinner with Amber. Of course, I clarified it was a work-related meeting. However, the more I explained, the more upset Sophia seemed to get. Finally, she just said and briskly walked past me. I couldn't quite understand why she was so angry, but I figured she must dislike everything about me. A week later, a welcome party was held for Sophia and Amber. The atmosphere was calm and the event proceeded smoothly. With alcohol flowing, everyone was having a good time. Sophia didn't speak to me but seemed to enjoy herself. The welcome party ended smoothly, and everyone left the restaurant to head home. I too was walking towards my house. When suddenly, a cheerful voice called from behind, "Hey, wait up." Turning around, I saw Sophia running towards me, smiling broadly. I wondered if Sophia had come just to make a sarcastic remark, but she was smiling cheerfully. Her smile was completely free of malice. Even though she was drunk, I had never seen such a bright expression on Sophia's face. I wondered what was going on. When Sophia caught up with me, she fell into step beside me and looked a bit sad. "Your expression looks gloomy. Do you really dislike being with me that much?" No, it's not like that," I stuttered in denial, and Sophia's face brightened up. "That's good then. I've liked you, Ethan, since middle school. I'm glad you don't hate me. Liked me since middle school." Contrasting with the joyful Sophia, my mind was in complete disarray. Sophia doesn't hate me. It was hard to believe. "No way, are you serious?" "It's true. Even back in school, it was my dream to walk home just like this with you." Sophia walked beside me with a light, almost skipping step. I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. Surely, she was just joking because she was drunk. Considering our past, that seemed like the most natural conclusion. Sophia accompanied me all the way to the fork in our paths. During that time, we talked about various things. We discussed family matters and her recently adopted cat, although her conversation topics jumped around a bit, likely due to being tipsy. There were no sarcastic or negative remarks towards me. I had never seen this side of Sophia before. Though bewildered, I found the conversation more enjoyable than I expected. When we parted, I even felt a bit regretful. I wished we could have spent more time together. Sophia said, "Sad to leave, but bye for now," waving her hands energetically as she headed home. How great it would be if she were always this approachable. The next day, Waking up, I remembered the previous evening. Despite what had happened, I wondered how I should interact with Sophia now. I was already struggling with our interactions, and her confession made things even more awkward. But I couldn't use this as an excuse to skip work, so I went to the office as usual. Fortunately, I had plenty of work that day that kept me confined to my office, so I didn't see Sophia in the morning. At lunchtime, I waited a bit later than usual to go out, hoping to avoid meeting her. Our employees usually go out for lunch right away. I thought Sophia would have already left by then, so I could avoid her. Yet, as soon as I stepped into the hallway, I bumped into her. She might have been thinking the same thing. Sophia looked puzzled. And I probably had the same expression. We stood in silence for a moment, but Sophia's face gradually turned red. "Do you remember what I said last night?" she asked in a soft voice. It seemed Sophia remembered the evening as well. "Yes, I remember." When I answered, Sophia fell silent again. She was looking down, fidgeting. Maybe she was embarrassed about saying something strange. I was about to say, "You were probably just joking because you were drunk. Don't worry about it." But Sophia spoke up before I could. Would you like to go out for dinner tonight? There's something I really want to talk about," she said. Sophia looked like she had made up her mind about something. Her earnestness was evident, so I agreed. After work, we met at the company entrance and headed to a restaurant. Sophia remained silent for a long time. I thought about initiating a conversation but felt it might only lead to an awkward atmosphere, so I stayed quiet too. The conversation turned serious only after the food was served. Sophia, looking determined, looked at me and said, "It's not a joke. I really do like you, Ethan." Her eyes showed sincerity. She wasn't drunk, and I could tell she wasn't lying, but I was still surprised. "Really?" "Yes, really. I started liking you back in middle school, when I saw how politely you served customers at your grandfather's shop. I loved the way you kindly handed me the sandwiches." I have known Sophia since we were kids, but I never realized she felt that way. I was so happy when I found out we would be attending the same high school. I had always wanted to confess my feelings to you, and I decided I would do it after the sports festival. I thought if I did well in a relay race, maybe you would notice me, but you know what happened. Yeah, you fell. It was so embarrassing to fall face first in front of the whole school. I was happy you came to help, but I was mortified that the guy I liked saw me in such a messy state, and then being laughed at by the boys. I just lost it and snapped at you. I'm sorry." Sophia shook her head in apology. I decided to accept her apology. It was a relief to know she wasn't angry. Sophia continued, "I've been looking for a chance to apologize, but I was too shy and embarrassed to even talk to you properly. Eventually, it seemed like you started avoiding me, and I thought you completely hated me. I couldn't muster the courage to apologize, thinking you wouldn't forgive me. When we met again suddenly, I didn't know how to act and ended up being standoffish. And then I missed another chance to apologize. I had no idea Sophia had been feeling this way. I had always thought she held a grudge against me. So, the Sophia I saw when you were drunk was closer to your true self. Yes, when I'm drunk, I somehow manage to speak my mind. I've always wanted to talk to you like that, but after sobering up, I felt embarrassed about what I did." Sophia looked down again. Now that I knew the whole story, she seemed endearing. She was competent at work but quite clumsy when it came to love. "I know it might be too late, but I'd be really happy if you'd go out with me," Sophia said, her face flushed. I took a moment to think and then replied, "Yes, let's give it a try." Sophia's eyes widened. "Even after I was so horrible to you, you're okay with this? I was avoiding you too, without talking things out. It's only fair. Besides, I enjoyed walking home with you yesterday, and from watching you at work, I can tell you're a good person." I meant every word. When I walked home with Sophia, I had thought how nice it would be if this could continue. Thank you. From now on, I'll be honest with you, Ethan. Sophia and I raised our wine glasses in a toast. It was a long, roundabout journey, but we finally reconciled and came together. Moreover, Sophia, having studied nutrition in graduate school, developed a new product boasting excellent nutritional balance. This product turned out to be a big hit, leading to a significant leap forward for the company. Eventually, Sophia and I decided to get married. When I introduced her to my grandfather, he was very surprised. He remembered her as a girl who used to buy beef sandwiches. Who would have thought the girl buying beef sandwiches would marry my grandson? Life is full of surprises. I felt the same way. It's amazing how a childhood connection led to this. At our wedding, all our employees and high school friends attended. They all had an inkling of the tension between Sophia and me, so they were quite puzzled when we announced our marriage. But after explaining the situation, they understood and congratulated us. Sophia and I were showered with well wishes at our wedding, which was filled with happiness from start to finish. A year after our marriage, we had a baby girl. She has my eyes but Sophia's nose and mouth. Since the arrival of our child, our home has become much livelier. I look forward to coming home every day, and I'm happy to have built such a joyful family. I hope to continue cherishing the spirit of caring for others, protecting both my family and employees.